Alright, now we are going to discuss about coding with Salesforce languages. First, get to know your options. There are 3 core programmatic technologies to learn about as a Salesforce developer. So, we are going to talk about 3 things. A high-level overview. First, the Lightning Component Framework, a UI development framework similar to AngularJS or React. If you've developed a lot of mobile applications before, this would be familiar. Apex, which is Salesforce proprietary programming language with Java-like syntax. The third is Visualforce. May the force be with you. A markup language that lets you create custom Salesforce pages with code that looks a lot like HTML and optionally can use powerful combination of Apex and JavaScript. So disclaimer, this is a developer trailhead. We will talk about development, and we will touch a lot on coding as well. Though, if I go back, let me pop up to developer beginner here. We have gone through most of these other modules when we are going through the admin trailhead module. So these are actually admin stuff, right? But it's also development, which is point and click, and knowledge of coding, a bit of logics here and there. But this is also important for development, but for developer beginner, we won't be going through these modules again because we've done that throughout the admin modules. So we are going to skip right ahead after we've done the development basics here. We're going to skip right ahead to Apex. Apex triggers, Apex testing, Visualforce basic, and the developer console, and also the Visual Studio Code. I have search solutions basic. So all this trail here from this part, Apex basics, all the way until we finish developer beginner, it's a lot of coding. Okay, so these are meant for developers or programmers. We are not going to go through basic computer science class, logic and definitions of programming, stuff like that. We will not be going through that. So bear that in mind, that I will not be teaching you, the foundations of programming. We will just go hands-on, okay? I won't explain you, all the foundations about coding or programming or even HTML or JavaScript. You are expected to already know about those, as we go through this. Otherwise, I'm just going to tell you up front, it's going to be a nightmare because these are meant for developers. So you have to be already familiar with at least HTML and object-oriented programming, Java, C, C++, PHP is awesome, Python, whatever. You have already have those skills, then it's good to keep going. Otherwise, you would have to go through the basics yourself. You can still follow along, but we're just going to go hands-on and jump on, Sometimes your mind will just pick up things and will just follow along. And you just follow along and you just understand it along the way. But just a disclaimer, I won't be going through the very basic foundations of programming and stuff like that. All right, so bear that in mind, please. So we're going talk about Lightning components and then Apex and Visualforce. So what are Lightning components? Lightning components framework is a user interface, a UI development framework for desktop and mobile. So bear this in mind. This is like amplified for mobile, right? So as its name suggests, it's a component-based approach to UI development. Using pre-built, somebody made the components, you can use them, or you can even make new components for you or for other people to use. So you can use pre-built custom Lightning components. You can also quickly develop slick and consistent UIs for your apps. So those are Lightning components. You can just stick them onto your Salesforce like this, Salesforce pages, and it'll look awesome both in a browser on a computer and mobile on your phones, iPads and stuff. Alright, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. I'm just gonna pop this up. I'm gonna close this guy and hands-on orgs. Okay, so if you're freaking out about codes and line by line, seeing codes, don't freak out. Well, we're gonna go through a lot of those, right? So hold on to your butts. So I'm gonna launch the resourceful raccoon here, and let's go. So first, Lightning component. So if I go to app launcher and click properties, all right, let's go app launcher here. We've installed that before, right? And then I'm going to search here for properties and click one. There, pretty cool, right? Look at that. Whoa, there's pictures, like you want to buy a house. Look at all this. You can even it's gonna snap like that, see? Right? So if you go mobile, you can it will adapt to whatever device you are using. You can also use the Google console and snap this into a mobile view. But let's go back to the trail. So this particular map, it's a component. It's a Lightning component. Okay, so it's a map component. So this particular map here, this is a Lightning component. So take a look together. Go to setup. How do you build this thing, right? Go to setup. Boom. And then you go to, well, you don't need to go to setup actually. You go to developer console. Boom. And then you go, oops, what is this? Let me close. File, open resource, and then map. And let's do map component. CMP is a component. Open, boom. So this is the component file. We are not going to talk about all of it, but this is the component and it has its controller. You can click on there. It's going to open the map controller.js, which is a JavaScript. And then you can also create your helper, your styling, CSS styling, right? Your documentation file, your renderer here, your design, and your SVG file for the icons and stuff. So that's how you build a component. So say you want to build what? A stock ticker, stock to buy and sell stock. You want to buy Salesforce stock. How much does it cost? Tesla stocks, Amazon stocks. You can build a stock ticker component, that would be cool, right? Grab it from NASDAQ, how much the price is for the current second, and build its own everything here. Maybe we can do that later on for fun, for fun. Okay, let's close this. So this is a component. This is the components files here, right? So I'm going to close this up so you see what a component look like. So go back to the trail. So we've seen that. All right, so it has its controller and everything. We will talk about that in depth later on the later modules. Now let's talk about Apex, right? So what is Apex? Apex is a programming language that Salesforce uses. It's pretty much like Java. So if you have ever developed in Java, you can probably figure out most of what's going on in this class. So for you Minecraft developers, I know there is one watching right now. Minecraft developers are using Java, right? So you are familiar with this kind of structure if you have developed in Java before. So let's take a look about this push notification. Same thing, you go to developer console and then open the push notification or price change push notification. So I'm gonna go here, which is set up, right? And developer console again. Let's close all of this guy. Close. Don't freak out with all these codes. You will get there. Okay, just don't freak out if you are not used to coding. Okay, so now let's open a resource price change. Price change notification. What is it called again? Let's go back again. Flip. Oh, push price change notification. So let's look for push instead of price. Push price change notification. APXC. Apex class. And for every single Apex class you create, you have to create a test class, which is fun. It's like playing games, you know. Now this is your game. All right, so price change notification Apex. So this is the code. Okay, so don't freak out. It will eventually you can just read this, you know, like reading a book. So invocable method, this means it can be invoked through a process, through any other, you know, buttons, stuff like that. It can be invoked from there. Okay, let's flip back. So first, notice the invocable method annotation before the method signature. It has a label attribute that allows other tools like a process builder to execute your method. All right. So also there is a SQL-like phrase. If you're familiar with database development like MySQL, Postgre, Microsoft SQL Server, AWS has a bunch. AWS is Amazon Web Services, has a bunch of databases as well. You would be familiar with SOQL, right? SOQL it's a Salesforce object query language. Okay. So what about Visualforce? Visualforce is more like a web page. You know, a web page. If you have been developing websites before, you know how a web page is constructed. So Visualforce is much like it, though it's using Apex as the controller, and you can use JavaScripts and stuff like that. If you view source, this is a website, right? This is a website. This whole Trailhead is a website. You can just view source here. View source. What you're seeing is an HTML file. See, this is all HTML, right? HTML. So Visualforce is more like this. So when you're developing Visualforce, you already have to be familiar with HTML. I'm not going to explain you what a p tag is. There's a paragraph tag. What a div tag is, that's going to be like taking, I don't know, too much time. So we're not going to cover, you know, you just have to jump in. All right, you just have to jump in and just follow along and just start typing. Probably your brain will catch up. Okay, that's Visualforce. It's building a full website or not website, or a full page on Salesforce, which you can fully customize. Okay, so if we open this here, this is not a Visualforce page. This is more of a page layout for the property object, right? If you've done the admin course, you create related details, chatter, and any button you want to add. Everything you see here, it's customizable. You can just click here and edit the page. Boom. You drag stuff onto it, you know. It's like easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You just drag stuff to it. Now this is a better way to build stuff, because you will actually tap into Salesforce power. You don't waste a week to just get this module, coding it on your own line by line. You just drag it here, right? Boom. Look at that awesomeness. Somebody else has already made this component, so you can just use them, and you can also get more on App Exchange. Click there, and then you can search for other components you can use, right? Pretty awesomeness. But if you want to create your own sleek, customizable, totally custom component, you can code it, right? So you can pretty much create anything you want there, dude. All right, so that's Visualforce page. Well, this is not a Visualforce page. I was telling you this is a powered by Lightning components, but this is a Salesforce page. It's not a Visualforce page. A Visualforce page is more like a blank canvas. You can just do whatever you want. So how can you make one? You make one by doing this. This is a simple, it's not even there. But if you go to your Trailhead like that, and then you delete there, and then you type Apex, right? And then you type cool page, right? Look at this, Apex/cool page, or whatever you want to name this, whatever you want to name that. You just hit enter. Cool page does not exist. Well, usually you can just create a new one. It gives you an option on the classic the classic UI, but it doesn't offer it right now. Now they take that option, dude. Okay, let's just do developer console again. Poof, right? And then you can do file, new, Visualforce page, right? Cool page. This is what I'm trying to tell you. We're actually out of the scope of the Trailhead, but if I type here, bada bing, bada boom, you know what will happen? I save this, right? Cool page, and it says bada bing, bada boom. Now if I flip here, and I go to, and I try again, Apex, cool page, see this guy, look at bada bing bada boom. That's easy, right? Do it yourself. Do it now. Create your own cool page by doing what I just did. Rewind a bit and then do that. Do your own cool page and type whatever you want. Well, you get your first Visualforce page. See, it's a blank page. With Visualforce, it's totally a blank canvas. You're like this artist. You can put whatever you want on the blank canvas. Feed your creativity, whatever you want to put there. So that's a Visualforce page, which is pretty awesome. So what else? Okay, let's stop at that and let's do the quiz. So you got the 3 flavors of what you can do as a Salesforce developer. You can do Lightning components. You can do Apex, right? Oh wait, I'm highlighting the wrong one. Lightning component, Apex, and Visualforce, right? So Apex is fun, but it's more complicated. But it's fun if you like, it's like it's like linking or chaining a lot of stuff together, like a chain reaction. This triggers this, bada bing, and this will do this, bada boom, and bada bing, and bada boom. This happened, that happened, boom, boom, boom. It's like just a chain reaction, which is awesome. Okay, so let's do the quiz. What types of elements do you see in XML markup for Aura components? Aura components, well, let me think. Probably A and C. Static HTML and Aura component tags. What's one situation where it is better to use Lightning components instead of Visualforce? What's the power of Lightning components? It's a mobile platform, so mobile devices there. What's true about Apex controllers? Apex controllers. Lightning components use client-side. No. Client-side means it runs on your browser. Apex controllers run on Salesforce servers. So, server-side Apex controller. So, I'll see you on the next video. It's been pretty fun, but pretty lengthy. I was rambling and talking, but I hope you get the idea. Bada bing, bada boom. Yes! Hit that subscribe button and explore new Trailhead grounds and learn to implement the most useful and popular apps on the Salesforce App Exchange. And do yourself a favor, like this video, and you'll be surprised on how much more you understand when watching this same video after liking it. Don't take my word. Watch this one more time after you like the video and see it for yourself. Bada bing, bada boom.